Welcome to theme 12 of Participatory Fluency, where we'll talk about interaction, correction, awareness, and purpose. The first thing to mention is that the context of interaction has changed very much over the years. We don't see kids talking the same way that they did many years ago. We don't see the same kinds of surroundings, we don't see the same kinds of media, we don't consume the same things, and we don't have the same habits. Language has transformed very much, and to keep up with these new forms of expressing themselves, we have to do a little bit of research and find out what is the best way to guide the younger people for having better discussions. And sometimes the dynamics of the situation inverts a little bit, and they're the ones who bring us solutions to what they think is right and is correct to say in a certain situation. This has been the case very much on social media for many themes that we've been observing over the years. Young talent, of course, is something that companies are looking for new perspectives, for new ways of seeing the world, and new ways to work, new ideas. And young people will find a very interesting land of opportunities where they need to navigate company profiles, job applications, resumes, interviews, selection processes, and HR interviews of many kinds, and tests, and all the kinds of stuff that are part of getting work. But this is not really about the interaction. The interaction that we're talking about is talking to people, and simply exchanging information with people is something very simple, which should be simple, but is, in my view, made more difficult by technology companies who want to monitor the whole process and tell us how to talk, when to talk, who to talk to, and control the whole process so that things get a little bit more complicated, if not every day, constantly when we make a decision to follow a brand or to follow an artist or to follow a certain political person or group, and to post things on social media. Things have an effect, and one of the ways to interact with people is to interact not by talking but by posting. And this is fundamental to understand, because this makes people aware of what you stand for. This has a lot to do with awareness. You're aware of the other person's presence because you see them on the phone screen and on the laptop screen. But you have to be aware that they're people, and they have daily lives that they go through without the aid of technology and without the aid of anything. They have their daily tasks to be solved, and they have very concrete problems, real world problems that need to be addressed. Like, for example, making dinner and making lunch. They have to have the money to make the dinner and making lunch. They have to have a job, and they have to fix the gaps in job inequality opportunities in order to be able to provide for their families so that they can one day produce on social media. It's a much more serious decision-making process that is taking place when you don't have a job and when you don't have time for social media, because some people rely on social media to make clear what their intentions are and to make people aware of what they're going through. This has to do with awareness. Other people use social media and other channels to make people aware of something that is going on. And there are many campaigns that have been launched and that have been distributed over the platforms for longer periods of time, and pages that have become popular and people who have become popular who raised issues that are worth discussing. But this kind of awareness is always mixed up with a little bit of marketing strategy and brand strategy. So it's important for us to be aware of that aspect as well. A page is making an appeal to their audiences, and so there is immediate collaboration in the engagement process and in the distribution of content, which many of the times is taken from suggestions and is taken from material that is linked to their page because they want to see themselves appear on that page. So a lot of the materials that you see on big pages are actually coming from submissions instead of content creation from the pages. And this can be in many forms. Now, I said interaction, correction, awareness, and purpose. The aspect of correction could be many videos actually. This is your last phase of learning with participatory fluency, and I want you to be free to talk about whatever you want. But with this freedom comes a little bit of responsibility. Responsibility to pay attention to your mistakes and to make sure that you communicate in the most direct, straightforward, honest, respectful way possible so that you can establish meaningful connections. This is a huge effort, and it takes you a little bit to the studies of grammar and pronunciation and vocabulary and all the things that we are used to hear about listening comprehension, about speaking abilities, and it's a lot of things that you need to assimilate and put into practice. Recording yourself is one of the biggest things you can do to make yourself more aware of how you're speaking and the things you need to correct. Writing down things with the supervision of a teacher is also a very important task to be fulfilled. And you can practice like that and see the effects that this has on your production. Having your mistakes pointed out and your text rewritten. Today we have the age of technology with artificial intelligence. Until a few years ago we didn't have this. Grammarly is a good example of this. And we didn't have access to these technologies, so it was a little bit harder, but teachers are still required to bridge the gaps between broken English and fluent English, so you can hone your skills and be better as a speaker and as a writer if you pay attention to your mistakes. But don't feel shy or intimidated by someone who corrects you. Take this as a learning opportunity and make the best of it. If it comes in a sense that the person is judging your personality, maybe you should be aware that they are mixing things up and they are not paying an effort enough to look at your efforts, your context, being a Brazilian speaker and doing all the things you have to do in order to communicate with the world. which is something that many native speakers do not do, statistics say. So paying attention to the criticism that people make of you is going to be important, because sometimes it's important to put aside the criticism and look at all your strengths and the value in what you are doing, which is trying to communicate. Interaction, correction, awareness, and purpose. What is your purpose? Your purpose is to communicate and to meet people who will make you establish better goals and career opportunities that you will seek, and friendships that you will foster, and maybe love that you can live. These are incredible opportunities and things that all people, all kinds of people are looking for and will always be looking for. So if this isn't your purpose, I'm sure you may want to hone your craft, you may want to start a business and learn about it, you may want to learn more things about the world and have knowledge available to you for research, and this will be very important for you in your learning journey. And learning is something that happens forever, so this is part of a long process. Your purpose should be to always learn something new so you can become a better person. But by becoming a better person, you can be a better person together with someone, and to find those people who you will share your life with and become real life partners is something that is the dream of everyone who starts to learn a second language. I hope you enjoyed these 12 themes, and I have something important to say. When it comes to context is something that is key to learning. And there's a context in learning about home, there's a context in learning about habits, there's a context in learning about thoughts, feelings, and arguments, there's a context in learning about plans, there's a context in learning about everything that we've covered. And I hope that you find yourself contextualizing all the things that we've come across, and make good use of your time in the future to investigate media, to seek materials that will help your learning process, and that you have great opportunities in the future for connection, for interaction, and for happiness, which is all part of the journey. Thanks for being here so far, and I hope that you've appreciated the moments that we've spent together. Bye bye.